So we're going to talk about these questions that I want you to keep in mind when applying to physical therapy school. So we'll break these into different subjects, but this is what I want you to pay attention to. Oftentimes we think about, what questions do we need to prepare for? Like, oh my gosh, what are they going to ask me? What are they going to say on this application? What are they going to say to me at a campus interview or a campus visit or whatever? But there's power in you asking questions and you asking questions that you care about. So let's talk about some questions to kind of keep in mind when applying to physical therapy school.
Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the
What's up guys, my name's Coleman. I'm a physical therapist and the co-founder of Pre-PT Grind, and on this video we're going to be talking about questions to ask when applying to physical therapy school. But here's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to break it up into two sections. We're going to talk about questions to ask yourself when applying to physical therapy school, then questions to ask specifically the physical therapy school, the people at the PT school, when applying there as well. All right, so get out your notes, get out your thinking caps and all that stuff, and let's get right into it. So in the first part, questions to ask yourself. All right, here's what I want you to keep in mind is, of course, why do you want to do this? But specifically, let's get more specific with that, because just asking why can be a little intimidating, or it could be a little too open-ended for you to get the answer to make a real difference when applying to PT school. So why do you want to do PT over something else specifically? So you can answer this a few different ways. You can put other professions up against PT. That might be the best way for you to do it. So why do you want to do PT over nursing? Why do you want to be a physical therapist more than a physician's assistant? Why PT over an athletic trainer? Why PT over an occupational therapist, over a medical doctor, over a dentist, over a pilot, engineer, over an entrepreneur, having an online business? I don't care what it is. If you have something else kind of tugging at you, or piquing your interest a little bit, then this might be a great place for you to start. Specifically if you're in like your freshman year of college, if you're in a high school situation right now, or if you're in a career change, this is a great place for you to start when applying to PT schools. Let's start at the foundation. Let's start at the beginning. Why do you want to do PT specifically over other career options? Okay, so keep that in mind. Next question to ask yourself is really this: what do you want your future financial situation to look like? Because a lot of people usually change careers or go into a specific career in some instance, in some cases, in some aspect for the money. And that is not a bad idea at all. That's a good reason to go into a certain profession, because everybody needs money. It's not like money doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, money isn't everything. Come on now. Like, let's be real here. Everybody needs money. It's important, and there is nothing wrong with that. So in some aspects, you're going into this profession because you see some kind of financial opportunity or better financial situation for you than you're in right now. So let's think about that in a broader sense. Why do you want to go in this profession, and why do you want to do this specifically for your financial future? How do you want that to look like? Whether that's a specific salary number, or a specific net worth, or specific assets you will have, or a specific hourly rate. I don't care what it is right now. Just kind of think about that. What do you want your financial future to be like? Do you want to be able to support your spouse and work only 20 hours during the week? The list goes on and on. For you specifically, what do you want that future to look like for you? And is physical therapy going to be able to help you get there in whatever ways that you think it will? Okay? So that's the next one. Then two more on this side. They kind of blend together, and I'll do them together, is career outlook, then your goals as well. So you can either split these two up or talk about them together. Career outlook and your goals. So career outlook, like kind of what setting do you think you want to be in? Do you know enough about different settings to even answer this question properly? Do you know enough about the profession to answer this question properly? If not, do a little bit more research on the profession. I have other videos on that as well. But keep that in mind. What do you want your career to look like? Do you want to be in an outpatient setting and take on students, physical therapy students, when they're on their clinical rotations? Do you want to be a clinical instructor? Do you want to be a clinic director, a regional director? Do you want to be in charge of your own outpatient clinics? Do you want to be in the hospital setting, skilled nursing facility, a travel PT, in the home health setting? What do you want your career to look like? Or do you want to bounce around? Do you want to do 2 years here, then a few years there, then go into, hippotherapy with horses and canine PT with dogs? Do you want to explore the vast opportunities in PT? Do you want to teach? So on and so forth. Do you want to have your own online business? The list goes on and on. What do you want your career outlook to be? All right, so write a few of those down, keep those in mind. Then, more specifically, once you have a few in mind, what specifically do you want your goals inside of that career outlook to be? Okay, so for example, let's say you want to be in an outpatient clinic, specifically who treat athletes between the ages of 18 to 25. Great. So what? A lot of other pre-PTs have that goal. I want to work with athletes and eventually I want to work with the sports team and blah, blah, blah. The schools have heard that same line plenty of times. Let's get specific. Okay, athletes between 18 and 25. That's a good start. But what kind of athletes? What sport? Does it matter? Do you gravitate to one sport more than the others? Have you played one sport but not played the others? Do you want to work with 18 to 25-year-old males or females? Females that play basketball, soccer, tennis, males that play water polo, who do triathlons, who play football. Come on, let's get specific. So that's the first step. Next, let's go a little deeper into that. How many people do you want to help within a certain period of time? So, okay, I want my career outlook to be in an outpatient setting in a sports kind of environment, treating males between 18 to 25, specifically football players who are D2 players between D2 and junior college, somewhere in there. And I specifically want to work with the lower extremity injuries. Yeah, some quarterbacks might get their shoulder, torn or something like that, or they might have some neck problems or concussions. Yeah, but I specifically want to work with the knees, the ankles, and the hips, like that type of stuff, because I went through that. So that's how specific we need to be, and the list can go on and on. And I want to be able to help, 100 people within 18 months after graduation. Or maybe I can even start now. Like, that's how specific you need to be when asking yourself some questions before or during your application cycle when applying to PT school. Because these are important. This section is very important because it's not about PT school. We say this all the time, and if you're hearing this for the first time, maybe you're taken aback a little bit and you're like, wait, you're right, it's not about PT school. Because when you're thinking, I want to be a physical therapist, school is just in the way. You're doing all of this, you're watching this video to become a physical therapist. I don't know if y'all can see this, but this little expensive piece of paper here, that's what you want. You want to be a physical therapist. You don't want to go to PT school. If you can skip PT school, you skip PT school. Right? So these are important for you. Before you try and go and impress a school with, oh, I saw this question on YouTube. Shoot, let me hit them with that. And because I asked this secret question on YouTube, they'll accept me. No. We need to start with you first. So keep that in mind. All right. So next column. Now we're talking about the school. So here's the next section. Questions to ask the school when applying to physical therapy school. All right. So things you can keep in mind are, of course, the cost, the tuition of physical therapy school. How much does it cost? Are there any scholarship opportunities? Are there any grants? Is there a lower cost for in-state versus out-of-state? Is it private? Is it not? If they know why the cost is that much and the conversation goes there, you can respectfully ask that way as well. Just keep in mind, you need to have the cost in mind. It's for your benefit. Trust me. Next, the alumni network. What are the alumni doing? What kind of alumni are they most proud of? Who do they call back and ask to speak? That can give you a little insight into what they like their students to end up like, or who they like their students to end up being like. Who can you reach out to? How are those students, how were they in PT school? What are they doing now? That can give you a lot of insight as to how you can tailor yourself, your application, what you can talk about to them, what you can talk about in your essays, what experiences you can either get or highlight. That can tell you a lot. If a lot of their alumni that they talk about are out there opening their own clinics and they're very proud of that, maybe you can talk about how you observed at 2 outpatient, small business clinics. If their alumni are doing a lot of pro bono work, you can talk about that. If alumni are out there working in hospitals and doing research and working with spinal cord injuries, maybe you should talk about that. It gives you so much insight and it tells you a lot about the school as well. So that's another question. Next, clinical education. In my opinion, this is one of the most important aspects of the whole PT school journey. Because yeah, the rest of PT school, you're in labs and you're learning all this book stuff, but in the outside world, you're not going to have a book there. Like, you're going to be in patients' faces, you're going to be, actually interacting with them. And this is where you actually take that book knowledge and put it into practice. So how are those clinical education experiences laid out? Questions like, how do you choose your clinical education experiences? Are they already chosen for you and they already know that half the class is going to these clinics and the other half is going to these clinics? Does it have certain regional aspects to it? Is everybody staying where that school is? Are they shipping you off somewhere that you don't have no choice in choosing? Do you have a special request type of setup where if you have a certain GPA, you can try and reach out to different opportunities where you can get a clinical education there or a clinical rotation there? Like, these are some very important questions that you will thank yourself so much for asking when that time comes. You might just be like, now, oh, just get me into school. I'm just trying to get in. The application is due in 2 weeks. I'm telling you, or due in 6 months. I'm telling you, you will love yourself if you ask these questions and find out how they do things with their clinical education. Okay? Next, challenges in the physical therapy world. You can ask them, what challenges do they see in PT? That's a very important question because these are the challenges you will have to face as a physical therapist. Okay, so what challenges do they see? What challenges are their students going through? What have they gone through already? What challenges in the actual physical therapy school and curriculum and faculty are they going through? What do they foresee coming down the line that you will have to deal with, that you should prepare for? Those are very important questions that you can ask. Then, coinciding with that, of course, is how are they preparing you guys as students to deal with those problems? Do they have anything in place? Are they trying to figure it out themselves first before? Sorry, Siri. Not talking to you, but are they preparing you guys at how to combat those issues coming up? Like, that's super important. Even Siri was talking about, hey, I need to ask that. Oh, it heard me talking about her again. Even Siri was talking about, shoot, yeah, that's an important question to ask. So definitely keep that in mind. Then the last two are student initiatives. Like, how much freedom do they give their students? If you want to either start a new program or start a new club or fix a problem inside the school or in the community, are they talking about, nope, don't do none of that. You need to stay in the books, go to the clinic we choose for you, and graduate and pass the board exam to make us look good. That's all we care about. We don't want y'all to be little intrapreneurs or entrepreneurs or trying to do this to help your career. We don't care about none of that. Do what we say. Then after you graduate, you can do whatever you want. Or is the school saying, yeah, we'd love to, bring more students into our school. We're a brand new school starting off. We'd like to, have some new initiatives put in place. We'd like to go on a mission trip in a few years. And if you can help us do that, that'd be great. Like, what do they have? How do they look at a student's outlook at their school and with the profession going forward? And can you help them? And are they even open to that? So that's definitely a question to keep in mind as well. Then the last one, very underrated in my opinion, is when can you take the NPTE, the National Physical Therapy Examination? When can you take that board exam? Can you take it before you graduate, or do you have to wait 3 months or so after you graduate? Again, this might not be a question that you're very excited about right now, but I am telling you, when you get to your graduating year, you'll be like, whew, I'm glad they let me take it early. So now I can graduate, then I can just be done because I already took my board exam. Because hey, I graduate in May, I took the board exam 2 weeks earlier in April. Once I walk past that stage, I'm free, I'm out of here, I can get a job, I'm all lined up and I can start working. Or my bad again. Or do I have to wait, 3 months later to take the board exam, then an extra month for that exam to be processed and put in the state system, then I can start working. That's like 3 to 4 months worth of hourly pay or salary that you're missing out on because you didn't ask this question. Woo. I mean, I would like to ask that question if I was you. So that's the video for this one. Questions to ask when applying to PT school. Remember, questions to ask yourself, then questions to ask the physical therapy school. I hope this got you thinking about some questions that can definitely open your mind to why you're either choosing PT for you, or open your mind to questions that you haven't thought about to ask the schools for your benefit. So this is all about you. This is not to help impress the school, even though it will. This is all about you making sure that you're choosing the right situation for you. And in turn, because you're asking these questions, because you're putting yourself first, because you're viewing yourself as valuable, because you see yourself as the customer, then you will come off as being impressive. You're not going to come off as being impressive because you're trying to be like, oh man, what's this question? What's this and that? Oh man, I got the secret one. They're not prepared for this question. Is not going to work how you think, because they can read right through it, they can smell right through it, they can ask you more questions about whatever some secret question is, whatever you're trying to be impressive about, and you will get exposed. So just be yourself, ask questions you care about. Hopefully this jogged a little spurt of imagination for some questions you might want to bring up. And if you have any more questions, drop them below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, share, comment, and we'll see you on the next one.